What's up everybody, Matt from 74 Airstream. On today's episode I'm going to be working on reassembling finally this wing window. I got the gaskets in the mail, I got those delivered. I'm going to work on polishing this glass first off before reassembling it. So once I get this polished up, get the gaskets all set up, ready to go, I'll show you exactly what it takes. I'm going to be cleaning the inside of the dual pane section. Once I get that cleaned up, then I know that I can work on getting these gaskets put in and then get the window reassembled. And then after that, if I need to clean up the exterior sides of the dual pane, I can work on those afterwards. So let's go ahead and get started. What I'm going to be working with is some glass polishing compound as well as a glass felt disc. Alright, so first step up is going to be installing this window spacer. So this is from Vintage Trailer Gasket. This is what they call a super spacer. For this wing window in particular, this is going to be a 1/4 inch wide. So it's got a 1/4 inch gap between the two panes. This is going to be installed around the perimeter of this glass. And what you need to do is leave a 3/16 gap from the outer edge of the window to the gasket itself to allow for the secondary sealant to be installed. So we're going to do a secondary sealant on this one afterwards. But what I've done is I went and built myself a jig. So what I can do is run this along the perimeter of the glass, and then that gives me a perfect 3/16 gap from the edge to the gasket. So go ahead and get this started. What we're going to go ahead and do is install this around the perimeter. Just a note is that you'll see one side has a foil that is going to be on the outer perimeter, so we're going to make sure we get that installed on the outside and not mistakenly put on the interior. So let's go ahead and get started here. Instruction on how to do these corners. So what I'm going to be doing is actually notching the desiccant inside. So it's the super core with desiccant. What I'm going to try to do is try to nick it just enough that I don't damage the foil, but I can go ahead and fold it over itself and continue down this straight edge on the side here. So let's see if we can do that. Okay, so we got the corner piece out, and that actually worked a lot better than I expected. So yeah, I'd recommend that for people. Continue on this last straight edge. Next up, I'm just going to do a quick dry fit of these two panes, make sure we've got a good positioning so I can have an idea of what I'll be looking at once I get this in place. Alright, so now is the last chance to clean this pane of glass on the inside before we seal it up. So let's go ahead and do that. You can never spend too much time cleaning your glass before sealing it up for another 47 years. All right, we're gonna go ahead and do the secondary sealant on the outside here. Alright, so silicone secondary sealant is in. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and let this cure overnight, and then tomorrow, hopefully, if it's solid enough, I'm going to come back with a razor blade and just cut all the excess sealant around the out edges. I did get a little bit on the glass on the bottom side, luckily not on the inside, but I think we're in good shape here. So I'm going to go ahead and let this sit for the night, and then we'll clean all this up once it's fully cured. But we have full adhesion on both sides of the glass. So the first piece is the super spacer with desiccant in it, followed by foil, followed by the black secondary sealant. So we're waiting for that to cure before we clean it up and get all the excess stuff off the sides. So, alright, so we're making good progress. I got the sealant on the secondary sealant done, and that's nice and well cured for the last 2 days. Not tacky or at all. So what I'm going to do is going to take a fresh razor blade, and I'm going to actually just clean off the outside edge of any excess. Have that nice sealed glass. So what we're going to do next, I'm going to get the outer glazing gasket. So that's going to be all right. So up next, we're going to be working on doing the window glazing gasket. So this is the gasket that will go between the glass itself and the frame. I got this from Vintage Trailer Gaskets.com out of California. So what I need to do is actually splice this. We're going to be making sure we get a nice clean cut. Going to do 45-degree notches for the corners. and then I'm actually going to plan to make the seam at the very bottom. I don't want it at the top because I don't want the top to be the weak point. I want the bottom to be the weak point where the water, if any were to get anywhere near it, goes out the bottom. So just a little practice there. So we're going to be using Loctite, vinyl fabric, and plastic flexible adhesive. So this is the transparent one with this gray gasket. Now it's ideally when you do the splicing of this glazing gasket, when you put it over the glass itself, it's best to create the gasket when you're right on the window. Ideally, you'd have these binder clips that you use to put paper together, and then clamp it over the glass. But I decided while I was doing this, just seeing how this holds together with tape, I'm gonna wait for those proper binder clips. I'm gonna order some online, and hopefully they'll be here pretty quick. So stay tuned. All right, we're here the next day. Lucky enough, my wife stopped by the store and grabbed me these clips that just Staples, any standard office supply store will have these. These are a 2-inch binder clip, they're called. Sometimes they're called just a large binder clip, but so what I'm going to be doing is going in and clamping these corners, or anywhere that I have a seam. I'm going to clamp it into position. So there's edge number 1. Followed by clip number 2. Try to keep this tight as I have it, and then also make sure it's right in there on the miter. So then at this time we have our vinyl fabric and plastic flexible adhesive. This is a transparent. What I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a popsicle stick just to direct where this is going to be flowing into. This says it's supposed to be good after 4 hours fully cured, but I'm doing this at night, and I'm going to let this cure through the night, and then we'll have no worries about it being fully cured when I work with it tomorrow to put this back into the main frame, the window sash. So. Alright, so like I say, a couple popsicle sticks. This is just going to help direct it into where it needs to go. So we got let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 doubles on the other side. We got 12 joints to make a seal on. So let's go ahead and get started. So break the seal just with the top of the cap. Before this gets messy, I'm gonna go put some gloves on actually. Obviously, the goal of this is not to make a mess, but here we are, not taking a chance. first window. Glazing gasket done. We'll let that set up overnight, and tomorrow we'll take the clips off, and I'll finish off this video by throwing it back into the frame and putting the screws back together on the sash. So. Alright, so we have our window gaskets all ready to go, so I'm going to work on removing all these clips. Awesome. So those are nice and sealed up. Not going anywhere. So now that we're ready to put this back into the window sash, make sure you have it still installed around the whole perimeter. And I'm gonna grab the frame that I've polished up. You can see I got it polished already, nice and good shine to it. This is gonna slide right back in. What I was told is to utilize some either dished on soap just to help slide it back in, or else even a silicone lubricant. So what I did was I went out and grabbed a silicone lubricant, just a good old 3-in-1. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna spray some of the lubricant into the window frame channel, and that should help ease this back into its original position. So let's go ahead and do that. Followed by the second frame piece. I'm just grab the screws that I need for this. Right. 2 screws, top and bottom, and just as we had them disassembled. What I'm doing here now is just making sure all my gasket is right up against the frame, nice and tight, and looking good. And there we have our fully rebuilt street side wing window. Next video up, I'm going to show you how to reinstall this into the shell. But that wraps up this video. This is the full reassembly of this wing window. Hopefully you guys found this useful. Please be sure to like and subscribe, and keep an eye out for new videos upcoming. So appreciate you guys stopping by, and look forward to having you on the channel for future videos. Thanks.